Is this thing on? Uh, oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to look cool. Joe, it worked for Biden. I don't know. Maybe I thought it worked for me too. Anyway, sorry about that, folks. Anyway, hey, Pamphleteer here. Rick with you. It's nice to talk to you guys again. Coming to you today with another vlog, and wanted to talk today about CRT. No, not Combined Reconnaissance Team for anybody out there who might have been in the Navy SEALs or something like that. No, critical race theory. Yeah, I think I'd rather talk about the Navy SEALs. But anyway, I digress on that. Critical race theory. I've been kind of looking over it for the better part of a week now, and basically what I can surmise from critical race theory is this: that under critical race theory, there exists within this country a hierarchy, if you will, of white supremacy that stems from the fact that the country was settled by white Anglo-Saxon Christians in the 1600s. Anyway, okay, aside from that, we obviously had the horrible institution of slavery. We got rid of the institution of slavery at the cost of 600,000 American lives. Um, is that enough blood? I mean, can you honestly think of another country in the world that has ever righted a wrong or what they consider to be a intrinsically immoral act within their society, that went to war with each other and killed each other by the thousands just to get rid of it? No. Roman Empire, one of the greatest civilizations that ever existed. They never did that. They never righted any wrong. They had slavery. They had slaves all over the place in Rome. Okay? You can go back to all those ancient societies and even modern societies, okay? I mean, my gosh, up until the 1970s, the British ruled colonies in the Caribbean. Okay? But think about it. We righted the wrong of slavery and then went a step further in the late 1950s and the 1960s with the civil rights movement, in which not only were people killed, okay, for what they believed in, and maimed and horribly attacked all over the place, but they brought about this amazing change. And now you have this complete and total perversion of Martin Luther King's dream. And we all know what his dream is. We've all heard it. To be judged by the content of our character, not the color of our skin. But what does critical race theory teach? It teaches that somehow, by way of my birth, and by way of my skin color, that somehow I'm blessed with some kind of special rights, if you will, that minorities don't have. Which, I mean, if we're being honest with ourselves, we all know is absolutely nonsense. There is nothing in this country that I can do that any black person, Mexican person, Asian person, any person, it doesn't matter what race you are, what color you are. I'm so tired of hearing those two words injected into every single part of the discourse nowadays. Who would have thought in 2021 that one of the defining issues of our day would be race? After everything that we have gone through, after the Civil War, after the Civil Rights Movement. And then what happens? At the end of the 60s, Lyndon Baines Johnson introduces his Great Society program, in which he gives welfare to people. And I'm not just talking about black people here. Don't make assumptions, please. White people game the system just as much as anybody does. But they put that incentive in there that started to break down the nuclear family. Father absence is one of the biggest causes of crime that there is. It doesn't matter whether you're black, white, Hispanic. It doesn't matter. If you don't have a father in the home to teach you the right way, well, I'm sorry, you've got a better chance of making a bad mistake in your life. It's hard enough for me. I'm the father of 6 children. My oldest son is 20 years old. Look at my hairline, for crying out loud. You know what I mean? So it's a journey, but it's an amazing journey in which we get to instill the right moral principles in our children. We, as parents, okay, we don't have to rely on the school system to instill morals and principles into my children. I can take care of that. I want them to learn reading, writing, math, and long division from that. And then we can worry about the morals and all that other stuff if they want to discuss it. But I really don't think it should ever be discussed in school. Critical race theory leads to nothing but bad things. It leads to racism because that's all it is. Critical race theory is nothing but code for reverse racism. That's all it is. It basically makes it to where the hierarchy in this country becomes a totem pole of whose opinion counts. Okay? Way up here at the top, okay, you have minorities, gay, lesbian, transgender, whatever it might be. Down here, me, white male, Christian, fairly conservative, low as snake shit. My opinion means absolutely nothing to the modern day discourse in this country with the identity politics that are constantly played. I am so sick and tired of race being injected into every single solitary aspect of what we do. Who would have thought in 2021 that we would honestly be hearing about race riots? Race riots. People out there espousing like offshoots from critical race theory, like BLM, espousing the nonsensical narrative that somehow there is this systemically racist idea that runs through the mind of every police officer, and that blacks are being hunted down in the street. Never mind that twice as many whites were killed last year by cops than blacks were. And as far as altercations with the law is concerned, when it comes to people of color, well, I'm sorry, minorities commit a disproportionate amount of crime. And if you commit a larger amount of crime, your interaction with law enforcement is going to be greater. That's just logic. That's cause and effect. It's simple. A monkey could learn that. So what the hell is wrong with our country? Why can't we learn it? I think you and I can. I think people who stop to take the time to think about things logically and reasonably can come up with a basic conclusion here as to what critical race theory is. It's nothing but reverse racism. That's all it is. It bastardizes the message of the civil rights movement and turns on its head organizations like the NAACP, organizations like the Southern Poverty Law Center. That organization used to be such an amazing organization for civil rights and justice. Now, it's like a collection of Al Sharptons. People waiting around all day long for anything that they can call racist. And what do we gain by that? We gain nothing. It drives us all further apart. In this country, if you want to be something, it sounds cliche, but all you have to have is a dream and the will to do it. And you can do it. There are people out there that are minorities that are a million times more successful than I will ever be. Why? Because they had an amazing idea. They took a risk. They took a gamble and they ran with it. And I don't envy those people. I don't envy people because they're rich. We've got to quit doing this as a society. We have to quit being so envious of each other. Quit wanting what everybody else has. If you want that status, if you want to move up in life, if you want a Ferrari, well, then you need to go out and think of great new idea, or go to college and become a doctor, or do whatever it takes to get that Ferrari money. And then you can have a Ferrari. You can have whatever you want in this country. Nothing is holding you back except for you. That's it. It's not the man. It's not the government. And it's certainly not white people like me. I have never oppressed anybody in my life. And to my knowledge, nobody in my family has ever oppressed anybody. So let's get real, folks. This is not a time of Jim Crow. That Jim Crow 2.0 crap. It incenses people who practice forms of logical and reasonable debate. Asking for a voter ID is not Jim Crow. An old friend of mine who used to have to lay down on his side in a public park while he was playing with his friends and act like he was resting so he could take a piss because there were no restroom facilities for blacks, and if he was caught urinating in public, he would go to jail. So he had to lay down on his side like he was taking a break and pee on the ground. Camouflaged. That's Jim Crow, ladies and gentlemen. That's Jim Crow. So, now that we know the real world that we're living in, let's start having a good discourse in this country. Let's quit injecting race into everything that we do. Let's quit feeding this nonsensical crap to our children. This generation's bad enough, okay? It's bad enough. They take everything for granted. You know, people talk about, this leads to disproportionate, this actually leads to racism that ends up affecting disproportionately Jews and Asians as well. I know everybody thinks that, Asians just got this special deal with universities. They just automatically get in, Actually, a lot of universities automatically deduct a little bit from an Asian person's SAT scores because they're usually off the charts. And why is that? Well, I don't know. Maybe because Asian people actually take school seriously. Maybe because it's a discipline for them. It's something that means something in their life. It's what's going to define their wisdom that they're going to take with them through life. And what's the most common response I hear from my kids when they get home from school? It was boring. Wow. Well, I do the best I can as a parent, and we all do. Okay, they're not always like that. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, and I'm not trying to be a pessimist. I promise. Okay. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little video. I'm getting a little sick and tired of race being injected into everything. Whether it's the left or the right, I don't care who injects race into what. It's wrong. It's just plain wrong. Whether it's critical race theory, whether it's white privilege, whether it's white guilt, whatever it may be. Give me a break. If I were to look you in this camera right now and tell you that I'm sorry for my whiteness, is it going to change anything in the world? No, it's not. It's not going to change one damn thing. It's not going to change your position in life. It's not going to help you rise from where you are. The only thing that can do that is you. So, until next time, Peace will be coming out later on this week, and I don't know what it's going to be yet because I've got like 4 things running through my head, and I can't decide which one I want to use. So until next time, it's Rick, the pamphleteer, signing off. I look like such a tool when I do that. Anyway, all right. I'll see you guys next time.